Hey there. Today I'm gonna tell a story and talk about retrieving memories that have been lost. So, this is gonna be a mini series because it's just too vast of a topic, and it's a little bit vague because it's just from my experience and my experimentations with this. So, the most important one that I can talk about is that your body remembers. So there's this book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's by Bessel van der Kolk. So I have experienced that as well in my life, that I did not really have very good connection to my body, and in part that had to do with that I wasn't being told the truth about my youth, my very early childhood years, and around when I was in my 20s, I I noticed that whenever I read or read stories or watched movies or kind of interacted with stories that had a lot to do with like torture or violence being done to people or abandonment, that I would get such deep sensations in my body that I was like, wait, I this is like I don't see ever. I started asking other people like, do you also have that? And they were like, well, a little bit, but not like big. And it took me a long time and a lot of questions. And eventually it took a really like it was like 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years later that I was told finally that that some of those things had happened, some specific things that I don't want to get into because it might be a little bit too private, had happened in my early childhood years. So yeah, there was a very strange thing that happened that I don't think a lot of people have experience with, which is that it was like I was given some of the memories back as soon as I actually read it in a document, and as soon as I read it, it like hit my whole body. My whole body was like, I know this. It's not like I knew this, like, because that sounds kind of like I knew it. Really wasn't like that. It was like, I know this. Like, my whole body responded. Um, and I was quite shocked. I was mostly shocked at not being told the truth for so long. Um, yeah. And the strange thing was that in the years that followed, it was like for 9 years, or it's still happening, memories would start to come back. I would start to remember things that I didn't know before, but also I started to connect dots that had been kind of weird. Yeah. And for for especially the first 7 years, it was really like I would just be walking along and suddenly it would like drop in, like a memory would just drop in, and it kind of felt kind of like it's almost like when you smell something and you get a whiff of it and it just goes woof. You're like, woo, and I'm saying smell because also smell goes very deep into the reptilian brain, so it kind of registers in a very deep way, like we have a profound reaction to it. And the same thing happened to me with these memories. It would almost be like there would be like a thought, and then the thought would be like, wait, what? It's like it wanted to pass by, but then it went like, what? And then and it was like kind of like smelling something and being like, hold on a minute. And then sometimes it would be not like one memory, but suddenly a whole lot of things clicked into place. And it was kind of like a cascading waterfall, like of little things that just drop, 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 drop. And you're like, ah, and you know, I'd have to, like, I would need time. Like, I would need like a few hours to be like, okay, because sometimes it would like change my life. It would be like, I would have to sit down and be like, what does this change about my life? You know, I can't just go on. It's like some of these realizations were really big. Um, and I'm still having that. And the reason why I'm talking about it now is because it's like we are almost at the end of Scorpio season, which is really this time of, and I think it's heightened this year, like revelations and like digging deep into the subconscious and things like secrets coming out and things like that. And we have the astrology now doing that as well, like kind of supporting that kind of process. So maybe more people are going through that. If you watched my last video about shame, then I talked a lot about collective processes and how shame can keep whole groups of people to keep themselves in line, to act in certain ways that, you know, society deems something that is wanted, instead of like society doing, or people or groups of people like questioning a whole lot of things and being like, wait, I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, the reason why I really needed to find out more, like sometimes people will say to me like, does it even matter? And I suppose that I don't know how it would be for someone else. I only have my own experience, and I think it's already super vague. So, but yeah, let me explain for me how that has worked. So in the last video, I also talked about how when I heard about dissociation, that I was like, I understand that concept. I am living that. And I think I am dissociated about 98% of the time, because I'm having to like pretend, because there's a lot going on in my head, and I'm just trying to, my head's like reeling, trying to keep up with everything, and I have to be aware of everything, I have to keep checking everything, I have to keep up in order to survive. And it wasn't really the things that I was feeling was like, I think in any one moment when I was really dissociated, I think that what I was actually feeling was like, you know, it was like silent, endless scream. Or sometimes just being like, what? You know, like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck. Yeah, I also explained in the last video that I think like sometimes when I let my body just do what it wants to do in those times, I think I only sometimes have that now, but like my body would start convulsing and being, I just like, it's just too much to handle. And yeah, and I'm explaining that so to express like how my inner world was, and like it was just like I didn't have anywhere to express like what was really going on or what I really felt. And I was very aware that I was playing theater, like I was just pretending. And like how do you say that I'm pretending 98% of the time? Like I had some people around me telling me like, I'm super depressed, I don't know, you know, no one understands me, I can't really tell anyone, because as soon as I tell anyone, like they don't even know what to say to me. And I was like, I could suddenly relate. Suddenly I was like, yeah, deep down, where do I even start? And I just didn't have people around me that were like, I will listen to you, I take you seriously, I will respect whatever you share about what's really, you know, going on with you. And then, you know, will it help? So I was just super frustrated, and I remember that I would write a lot and being like, I was just trying to define things. And it just helped for me to write and to define, like, even that I felt like I was pretending, like, and feeling really lonely, like tragically lonely. Like, does anyone even understand me? And does anyone actually care if I told them that I was pretending, or just going along with the whole story and narrative of what's happening around me? Does anyone even care? You know, that was something that really got me very deeply. But yeah, I didn't feel at home anywhere. Yeah. Um, Basically, just to give you a little bit of an explanation about this, is that I had so much pain in my body, so many things, that I had somehow shut it all down and wasn't feeling anything, or had learned from the places that I had come from the environments where I had come from. It was like the one tactic, or the thing that had been shown to me, and that I had adapted to, was to not really allow feelings to to be part of my information that I was reacting to. Of course, it's kind of impossible to not to dismiss all feelings, so it was kind of bleeding through sometimes, and you know, but to explain it, like, I had removed myself from my emotions, from my feelings, from my body sensations, and that in itself, like in the last video I talked about shame, and it's just not a way to live. You need your body. Your body is always telling the truth, and that's where the feeling of home also is to feel complete and to feel whole. You need the body for that. The emotions are actually a compass. They tell us of our subjective truth. So yeah, the long healing journey that I actually took was to be reunited with my body, and the puzzle pieces that were missing, like a lot of them came back kind of online, if you could say it like that, when the truth about what had happened to me in my early childhood was revealed to me. Yeah, the sensation of that was kind of like if it would be like a whole territory that was like dark, because I couldn't remember anything, and then suddenly a light had been put on, but only in one area, and then over years more lights started to go on, just one by one. Just, I think it's like, it felt like my psyche was ready. It didn't feel like a labor that I had to do, but I did have to deal with the things that then were revealed, and that I would remember. And so also remembering things, like a whole lot of things that I had seen in my life, around me, in the people around me, the things that I had deduced about how the psyche works. When a lot of the memories, when they really dropped in, the reality started all like it's like suddenly all these puzzle pieces were being filled in, not only in myself but also in everything that I had seen around me. Things just made a whole lot of more sense. Like things just started to be logical. They were logical in ways that mostly people don't want to know about. It just, but yeah, my theories also about how the psyche works, like they most like I don't know if all of them were like turned out to be true, but a lot, yeah. So my experience with memories coming back is that more of my body comes online, more makes sense, more reveals to me that the way that I have been is a natural result of everything that has happened to me, or that just basically has happened. And the more of the truth that I know, the more me I can be, the more aligned I feel, the more the dark spaces are filled in. And yeah, there's a I don't know. I'm talking about it now also because like I said, like more things are coming back online, but now it's entering a territory where most people dare not go. And I don't know what I'm gonna find there. But I'm starting to remember things that my whole body is like it's like I'm allowing it to happen, but like the things that then are revealed to me feel like blinding, like suddenly the sun was turned on. And um, and so I know something is going on, but it's going to be a journey. And I've had a lot of practice to just allow my body to show me. And so instead of me like kind of diving down into my subconscious to go and have a look around and shine a torch around, instead of doing that, I trust my body to let whatever needs to be shown to me bubble up to the surface. And because I've worked a lot with shame, I don't have a lot of grievances with myself. I don't have a lot of ways that I withhold things from myself or don't believe myself. It's not like wishful thinking, because that usually feels a little off, or a lot off. Yeah. And like, if you want some advice, I think from my perspective, I can say it's not really happened to me, because I feel like every time I've had like emotional releases that had to do with triggers from my past, I could tell which part of it was important for me to realize about my past, and which parts of it were just like a bit of drama, like just needing to express some more. And subsequently, if I like rushed to explain away or define something that wasn't really ready to be defined, it just didn't feel quite right. And that is something that every person has to feel, I think, for themselves. But there definitely is that thing where there could be so many reasons, and legit reasons and good reasons and bad reasons, to want to fill in before you actually have the full picture. And you know, we just need to have some compassion for ourselves if that's happening. But just to give you an idea, like our body shows us subjective truth, and it's only when we really, really understand who we are and what our subjective truths are that we have any hope of finding objective truths. And the way that I would, like as a metaphor, maybe it's not even a metaphor, I don't know, it might be a real thing, but kind of like you're living in like a bubble, and the membrane of the bubble is kind of like a shield. And so when something happens, it's like the shield reacts and gives you information, and that's like your emotions and your feelings. And so something may be happening in the outside world that is triggering, but you might have the wrong interpretation, in the sense of like you're having emotions about it and you can interpret what that means for you, but it might not be the right conclusion about what's going on, maybe like what's the reason for that thing happening. um, so that's where we have to like practice discernment, and discernment is the most important and biggest tool that we have. And it's like, yeah, discernment is actually where we're putting our consciousness to work. So yeah, just to come back to this sort of emotional or feeling shield, like it is actually really important that when we get like input from our emotions and our feelings, that we are really listening to ourselves and we're deducing what our truth is. Like something might happen, someone might say something to me that strictly speaking isn't very polite or nice. I don't know, someone might swear at me or call me a name, and I might feel hurt. And that could be the truth of that. Like the truth of that might be something as simple as, I don't like being disrespected. I felt disrespected. I don't like being disrespected. So that's really important. Like, I don't want people to disrespect me, so I would want to do something with that. And that's where my emotional muscle comes in, and I have to like act on that. But then I would want that to go in a conscious way. Like I can also now look at the situation and see like this, what caused this person to swear at me, if you know, if it's someone that I care about, for example, or if I feel like they might do it again and I need to understand what's going on, that I don't keep getting hurt by the same thing. Yeah, and I might see that this person, for example, maybe they look like they're living on the streets, and they look like they're in another world, in like they're out of, like they're in another consciousness, and that might that might cause me to go, oh right, it's not personal. Because they probably don't even know who I am. They don't have any reason that I can think of to disrespect me. They might have just be having a thing going on. I might even have empathy. But yeah, I have choices. Whereas if it's like someone who's very close to me and they're calling me a name, that I might be like, wait, I don't like what you're doing, and why, and I might want to know like what's going on. Did I do something to you? Like what happened? You know. And yeah, just to express like the becoming conscious is a way to not have to be emotionally triggered by things all the time, because there might be a legit reason for things happening, and if it's not personal, like why would I feel hurt about it? Because I don't feel like I'm a bad person, so someone swearing at me doesn't make, I don't feel like there's any truth to that, you see. But Now, how did I get onto this subject? Oh yeah, the emotional shield, or this membrane. There's a difference between how I feel and what the actual like objective truth is, if we ever know the objective truth, but there could be different perspectives that we could figure out. Um, and the same, I think, would be like, it's not really happened to me like when I remember things. Because it's happened so many times now, I do feel the difference between it's like a memory that's like telling me like, oh, this is important, that like it's a sensation in my body. Whereas me feeling emotional about something, like I have some extreme discernment about what is what, but it could be difficult to get to that point of discerning what is what, if it's like, if you're just starting out on any of these subjects, on remembering things, or knowing what kind of how your body feels in certain moments. Yeah, just knowing yourself, and that's a really important thing. And yeah, so coming back to like, why would someone want to know things? I can only say from my story that it's like pieces of myself came back online. It's like the structure of my being started to become whole. There's still parts missing that I feel like there's still parts missing. And like, it feels like home. Yeah. Like, I have spent the first 30 years of my life just being like, what is home? Because there was so much missing. And it's a very terrifying feeling to feel like it wouldn't even matter where I went. I'm not gonna find home because it's not inside. I don't know where it is. Things don't make sense. And so if you're someone that is like, you're withholding truth from someone else, and they're asking you for that truth, and you can tell that it means something psychologically or emotionally to them, then please find a way to tell them the truth. You know, of course, everyone has to see for themselves what that is, but please be mindful of, if you're telling yourself, of what the consequences will be. Just, I have this word, yeah, this psychological hemorrhaging, that I feel like that happened to me a lot. That it's just a word that I'm experimenting with, and so I don't want to stick it on everything. It could be like, here's my new word and I'm gonna use it for everything. It'd be a little bit dangerous, but I feel like that word does define very well some of the things that happen. And like, shame, I feel like sometimes for our inner world, shame can be, so I am saying this from the vantage point of having made that video and realizing that, wow, shame really goes a long way. But that shame to me sometimes feels, in some instances, like having a straitjacket on and gaslighting myself. Like, and then if I do that, if I stop myself from being able to look further down a road, because I feel so ashamed, because I'm putting all kinds of consequences with that, and I don't want to face those consequences, like social isolation or something like that. Like, I feel like, oh, people are gonna think I'm a really bad person, and people are gonna be like, no one's gonna talk to me, or people are gonna really dislike me. Then that can be one way that the psyche might not open up to memories. um, and especially if there is like added on pressure, like I actually do really want to know. The gaslighting can be so damaging, like, and that's what I would call like psychological hemorrhaging. Um, and I've definitely felt like that was kind of going on, and I think that people don't usually notice. uh, I've just defined this word because so of course not, but I find that people don't usually notice the effect of them shaming you, or the effect of like people saying like that can't be true, or people saying that like this happened a lot to me, like that memory that you're saying that you have is kind of dangerous, and what if it's not true and you might be imagining memories, and think of all the people that that's going to negatively impact. And like in my mind, like in my cognitive mind, it's something very understandable, but to my body, when I actually do remember things, it feels it feels like a gaslight. And because I've been gaslit for so long, in so many instances, like I'm just starting to recognize it, like, and to stay present when I recognize it, that like there's like a surge of righteous anger that comes through my body, and I have to control myself to not like spit fire at even friends. um but I just remember like, oh my god, you don't know what my life has been like I have had to like on my own, carry so many things that people were trying to say, well, that's not true. Well, it's not true. And if you feel like a victim, it's just not true. That it's like, yeah, I have so much anger in me, and I'm just trying to like be conscious of it and to see the other perspective, like, okay, this person really doesn't understand anything about my situation. They obviously can't feel the inside of my emotional shield, my pain body. They don't know how I'm being hit right now, how painful this is. Like I it can be like, I just want to be understood. Before telling me that this might be a fake memory, please just ask me how I'm doing and if I think it's real, and how that would feel for me if they found it highly doubtful. Because then it would be like, then at least they're telling me, look, I really care about you, and I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm really looking for how to best handle this situation, to also at the same time honor my own feelings that I find it very hard to believe. And then at least, you know, then it's a lot softer if someone just prepares and is showing that I do really care about you, and I want to prioritize how you feel in this moment, but I'm just having a lot of difficulty dealing with it. Then I could be like, "Oh, yeah, I totally get it, and it really means a lot to me, and I'm having difficulty just even telling you this story because I've been told so many times, and I've been gaslit so many times, and I've been told by really important and close people to me that I was lying to myself when like atrocious things had happened to me, and it was totally true. Like the things that I had felt that had happened were so literally true. It was just really hard for me to handle when I finally when it was finally revealed to me, that I was like, it was very hard to me to reconcile that that a person would just not tell me. And in my situation, like the situation was that the person or the people thought that it was best to not tell me because then it wouldn't negatively impact me. But even though I had told them for many years that it would negatively impact me, because I needed to know, because I was in therapy and I needed to heal things, and if they had happened, that it was my right to know. And yeah, they had like willfully kept it from me. And they keep saying that it was because they thought that that was best. And yeah, it makes me super angry. Just, it's not really even so much about, I don't know, I'm angry about a whole lot of things. About, I feel really disrespected, like this person really didn't honor the fact that I have been working at understanding the psyche just because I had nothing to go on. And like been battling my way through a jungle that I maybe didn't have to do all of that if they would have just told me, you know. Trying to, like, not having anything to go on, and starting to have to define the inner workings of my psyche and other people's psyche in order to figure out like what is wrong with me, you know. Like I could really see like there's something very different about me compared to other people. And yeah, I'm honestly, like, I'm coming home. This is like more and more of my body comes online as I heal more, and as I heal more, I feel like I can handle more and more of the memories, and it's like my body is showing me what is happening, and it's like my body is just in this flow, and it's my job to take care of it so it can keep being in that flow. And like, yeah, I'm part, making these videos is for me part of that flow. So we're totally meta here. And yeah, I think I'll be making more videos about this, because like my my life experiences have also gone into the areas of how absolutely dangerous it is to not be connected to the body, and to be gaslit about what has actually gone on. It has many consequences. It can cause you to leave your body. So it leaves it open to being predated on, like predators, people being ill-intended, especially if you live in your mind, if that is the way that you have found that you can survive. Like I want to honor everyone who's on a journey like this, because it can be like saying like, here's a method, here's what you can do, but no, everything that your journey and mine, there has to be like so much compassion around it, because like we all are doing the best that we can do. So if you notice that there's something that you've picked up here that I'm saying, just give yourself a whole lot of grace for everything that you have managed on your own, because these are the kind of things that it's just been my experience that a lot of us who go through this are so fucking isolated. It's just a big fucking tragedy. And I think that should end, and that, you know, healing is just little step at a time, and trust your body, that when the time is ready, it, you know, just get more and more connected into your body, and allow it to be, and listen to it, and just try and respect whatever is coming up. Yeah, the body keeps the score. It's all there. I will also talk another time about what early childhood memories are like, and how they are very different from having cognitive memory, um, and also how I used art unknowingly, um, where some of the things that had happened in my life, various different things that had happened that that other people said to me, you definitely cannot remember those things, but I had been making art about the exact things, and I had been using those like my inner world was like revealing itself the whole time through my art, and a lot of things just turned out to be true. Like I had been drawing them for years. um, yeah, and I started to make artwork about that as well. So yeah, my experience, and the things that I talk about have come from years and years of investigating into my psyche. It's something that I also just enjoy. I'm very curious about it because I get answers. Not only my memories coming back, but also understanding how a whole lot of things work. And I think those firsthand experiences are so super helpful for understanding a whole lot of things, and to not only take them from books. And you know, obviously I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, so be mindful of whatever you use here, or anything that you feel would be helpful or is totally unhelpful. You know, both, all of those things could be the case. Um, and yeah, I hope everyone is just being really gentle to yourself. And if, yeah, I'm not even sure if I could answer any questions actually, because I only have my own experiences, and that might be very kind of narrow thing. Uh, um, yeah, so see you next time. Many blessings and on your journey, and hope things are being revealed to you. Yeah, I just want to end on it. Just, it does really feel like healing. Yeah, for me, even if it's really horrible things that have happened to me, it still feels like the truth. The truth is, it's so feather light. Um, I'd have the truth any day over an illusion, any day. Yeah, it tells me who I am, it tells me where I am, it tells me what has happened, and so where I'm headed. It gives me, like, yeah, it's basically my location in the matrix. And I am very aware that my life story is one of discovering what my location in the matrix is. And maybe you have that as well. And if you have that as well, then I think it's a spectacular but also a very challenging journey to leave, you know, something undefined, and like being okay with that, but also being curious about, like, you know, when the time is right, God, you know, good, or God as in whatever you see as higher wisdom or consciousness, then let it be revealed to me. And if it's not the right time, let it not be revealed to me. Yeah, we all get to live a life. And yeah. So see you next time. Many blessings, much love, bye.